If you're not talking, we mute our mics. We're almost beginning. Mr. Kimilu, Julius, please mute.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, doing fine.
Morning, Joe. Morning, Joe.
Yeah, doing fine.
So good morning, team. So in the interest of time, I think in the class we are now 9 of them. We are being joined by my colleagues who are, and therefore this one is around the table. But in the interest of time, I wish we start. Also, so in the interest of time, we want to start our class today. And I would like us to start our class by saying a word of prayer. And then I will issue a set of instructions of how we intend to carry out with the rest of the sessions, right from today and even tomorrow. So we have always had our spiritual leader. So we hope this morning we've been joined by our spiritual leader. So kindly unmute and pray for us. The spiritual leader. In the absence of the spiritual leader, we can have, you can see Eliud Kisilu is in class. The timekeeper, you can also pray for us.
Hello. Hello, colleagues. You're hearing me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Are you
hear you? We can hear you.
Let us pray together. Father, we thank you, we honor you, and we give you the glory for the far that you have taken us. Thank you for bringing us together for another session. As we begin, we place ourselves into your hands that you lead us and guide us. Give us knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that as we go through the sessions, it shall be well with us. We thank you, we bless you, and we honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank you, Eliud, for the prayer. Now, like you all know, you can now mute yourself. Eliud. Now, colleagues, like you all know, we lost one of us, Madam Agnes Kideka. So even as we start our class today, we will actually observe a minute of silence in honor of our departed colleague, Madam Agnes Kideka. So let us observe a minute of silence in honor of our departed colleague. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, colleagues. We now want to get into our session today. And before we start our session, I would like us to make some preliminaries. But before the preliminaries as well, I have been joined by a team of my colleagues from Kenya Education Management Institute, who are together with me for this session. I'd like to also let you know that we'll also be joined by our colleagues from VVOB, who are partners. So I would like to give them an opportunity to say jambo even as we start. And I would like to invite my colleague Elijah to say jambo to our participants from Makueni.
Good morning.
Good morning, Elijah.
My name is Elijah Karimi. I'm a trainer with Kenya Education Management Institute. Today I decided to join you for a session, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elijah. Aquila.
Good morning, colleagues. Team Makueni.
Good morning.
Okay, doing well?
Yes,
my
we are
name
doing
is
well.
Aquila Kenywa from KEMI ICT office. Thank you.
Thank you, Aquila. Our colleague and our partner, Peter.
Morning, everyone. Team Makueni. I'm very glad to join us once again. I remember last time we said that was the last time we were meeting face to face. Now today we are now live. We are meeting virtually. So it's a great achievement that finally we are able to have our class together, even when everybody is at their own activities or at home. So we're also looking forward to the rest of the teams joining us. If perhaps you can, someone who has not joined, in total we are 67. So we are still like 20 more to join. So we're encouraging, if you know anyone that you call them and tell them the class has started, you can do so. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to having an engaging session with you today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter, for that. And now, colleagues, I want to say that this marks the start of our last session together for this course. And therefore, just like we indicated last time, this will be an online synchronous session. We will try to replicate what we do during our face-to-face. And therefore, for the next 2 days, we'll be doing a review of our training programs, especially our training program, Unit 4, 5, and 6. So I would request that we actively participate. The sessions will be activity-based, and we will be actually requesting that you join some breakout rooms. We will be giving you instructions on what to do in those breakout rooms, and therefore we will be expecting that you actively participate. Once in the breakout rooms, we expect that you choose a chairperson and a secretary who will actually take the proceedings of the discussion. And once you've taken the proceedings of the discussion, we'll expect that you share them in the plenary. When sharing in the plenary, we will be expecting that you you are free to put on your camera so that we can also get to see those who are actually participating. So one, it is that we want to actively engage with each other during these sessions, and therefore our request is that we will concentrate for the particular time that we've been allocated to go through the particular sessions. I know some of us are engaged, but then of course we request that we really don't, we find time for this session so that we take the shortest time possible. So tomorrow we will be having a joint closing ceremony, and Makueni, I'm glad to announce that Makueni will be the host county for the closing ceremony. The closing ceremony will still be virtual, and this is to mean that our class, in our class, we will be joined by 3 other counties, and these would be Busia, Kirinyaga. We will also be joined by, I have talked about Busia. We will also be joined by Kirinyaga, and we shall also be joined by Nyamira. I want to notify you that our CDEs are with us. They are also participating in this program, and therefore it is important that we don't also shame ourselves by not also supporting as expected. Remember, you are nominated by your CDEs to participate in this program, and as they make their remarks, during the closing ceremony, it is our hope that you will be available for such. During the closing ceremony, we shall also be joined by our CEO, Kenya Education Management Institute, and the Global Strategic Education Advisor from VVOB. So it will be a big ceremony, and it is our hope that all of us will be actively involved in this session. So then with those preliminaries and the sharing of information of what is expected of us during this particular session, then I think we can start our class. We will jointly execute the class with my team here, and therefore we will also expect you to play an active role even as we execute the class. So you will allow me to start sharing of my screen. So once I've shared my screen, possibly you let me know whether you can be able to see what I'm sharing from your end. So I will let me try to get my so if you can be able to see the screen from your end, kindly let me know.
I can see the screen from my end.
Or you can see the screen from your hand?
I'm seeing Mr. Kisilo speaking.
I've shared my screen. I've shared my screen. I would wish to get to know whether from your end it is visible.
The screen is not visible from our end.
Oh, it is not yet visible. Okay, I've now started.
It's now visible.
Now
It's
visible.
now visible.
Effective resource management.
Also visible on my end.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I can see most of us have acknowledged the fact that it is visible from your side. And therefore, this morning, we are doing a review of Unit 4. And Unit 4 is on effective resource management. In this particular unit, we will basically be looking at various activities that we've planned for as a way of trying to refresh our knowledge, our understanding, our skills on this particular area. And this is the breakdown of the time in terms of allocation of the activities. So we will be doing an introduction for this in 10 minutes. Then we will actually have an activity that will take 20 minutes. Then we shall have a discussion in our breakout rooms about procurement and risk management, and we report in the plenary, and that will take us around 50 minutes total. And then we shall have a review of our extended learning activity, and then we conclude our session. So as you can see, it is not a long session. I expect that we actively participate in this, and therefore, during our discussion on effective resource management last time, ideally we discussed about the concept of resource management. And for school leaders, you know very well that for you to execute your mandate as school leaders, then of course it is very important to ensure that we understand the concept of resource management. Remember, resource management cuts across quite a number of issues. We are managing resources like finances. We are managing resources like human resources and even physical resources. So the concept of resource management was key to us in our discussion last time, and it continues to be. And therefore, as a way of trying to refresh ourselves into this very concept, we will delve deep into a discussion about what it entails in terms of the three parameters that I've just shared. We will also talk about school planning. Of course, school planning is still an area that is very key in effective resource management. Remember from our discussions last time, we said that it is important that as school leaders in junior schools, then you need to have strategic plans. And from the strategic plans, then of course you have quite a number of activities that have to be executed annually. And therefore, from the strategic plan, then you have to come up with an annual work plan. And for the annual work plan, then of course you have other types of plans, including the school improvement plan and other short-term plans that you must have in place so that you execute your mandate accordingly. We also had a discussion about financial literacy, and here definitely we had to dig deep into matters finances. Remember, you are the persons with the authority to incur expenditure in our schools. And there is quite a number of accounting issues that you must be aware of, because you are the person dealing with money as a resource in the schools. And therefore, we still want to remind ourselves about the various issues that touch on financial management in our schools, including legislation that touches on financial management, which is basically the Public Finance Management Act, and other related legislations. We will still remind ourselves about the accounting documents that are relevant in the execution of our mandate in terms of finances at the school level. We will also talk about the public procurement and stores management. Remember, when we have done our budgeting, we have our monies in place, we have planned well, then we must buy for goods, we must buy goods, works, and services that will help us now execute our roles as our school leaders. For the schools to run, of course, we must have goods, we must have services, we must also have works in place. All this is guided by the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015 and the regulations of 2020, which you must clearly be aware of. We cannot fail to make a mention about risk management. Remember, in all this, there are quite a number of risks that are involved, and therefore we'll be looking at how we manage the risks that are likely to befall or to the risks that we are likely to encounter even as we carry out our responsibilities as school leaders. There's quite a lengthy discussion about risk management in terms of the probability of risks happening and how to ensure that we narrow down the risk levels in our schools and all that. So ideally, those are some of the areas that are actually, that's a snapshot of the 5 thematic areas that we covered under effective resource management. And it is my hope that after we've gone through quite a number of activities that are scheduled during this lesson, then we will be in a better position to actually execute our roles on matters resource management. So to help us start off this discussion is an activity, and this activity I will request our IT to guide us through this activity. It's about accounting documents and records. And in this activity, we'll be required to do a refresher of trying to identify the accounting documents and records that are used by school leaders in their day-to-day operations. I remember vividly our discussion on this, and therefore I would like you to take a journey back to your office, assume the role that you do, of course, daily in terms of financial management, and then you relate with the documents that you use from day to day in terms of running the financial operations of the school. So I'll invite my IT colleague, Mr. Aquila, to guide us through this particular activity. Aquila?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kisilu. I'll open the Slido. The activity is identify the accounting documents and records used by school leaders in their day-to-day operations. So please check your chart. Check the chart. Click open or view.
Come again, sir.
Check the chart.
Charts.
Yeah, the Zoom chart.
Okay.
Click open or view. You can see 2 are typing, 3.
Let's have the responses coming.
Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
Let's have, we need to have as many responses as we are in class.
We have 48.
I'm lost. Okay.
Let's have the responses coming in. Let's have more responses. We expect all of us to be participating, and we can still see your responses. Some of them are right, others are not right. From my analysis,
Aquila, I don't know where I am now.
Joseph, what is the issue? What is the problem?
I have not followed the instruction. My phone has developed some problem.
Okay, Aquila requested you to go to the chat forum of the Zoom hub. It's one of the functions of the Zoom hub. Then you will see a Slido that will be requesting you to open. So you open the Slido so that you view the question. Identify the accounting documents and records used by school leaders in their day-to-day operations. Then now you type your response. I don't know whether I have guided you well.
I go to where there is chat. After participants, I go to the chat.
Yes. You
Then
go to
after
the
that,
chat.
yes, I'm in the chat. Then
Can you see any prompt from Slido?
yes, I can see.
Yeah, open it. Click view or open.
I click view.
Yes.
There is nothing in my slide view. Do you find Slido easy to use? I'm seeing things like that.
Not that. I think you are seeing my screen. Let me stop sharing. So, can you see the prompt?
No.
On the chat. Check again the chat.
I can see the chat. I can see view.
Yeah, click view.
And there. Guest mode. Slido.
Yeah, it's opening now.
Okay.
Are you okay now, Joseph?
Yeah, I can see identified documents and records used by school leaders. So next,
So we type your response.
I type.
Yes. Give us
What
the
we
answer.
have enter the word. Okay.
Okay, thank you, team, for that. I think we can now sample some of the responses that you've given. I don't know whether Joseph, did you manage to give us your response?
The process.
Okay, we shall be able to check on that. So quite a number of us are right. They've been able to identify the documents, but we would like to do a sharing. So I request that you give us the response that you gave so that we see whether it was right or wrong. So I request that because this is there are quite a number of the documents that are interesting. We get to know whether. So I'll get like around 2 or 3 people or participants to give us the answer, so that we have actually a participation from you in terms of what you've given. And then, of course, now from the analysis that we have, you can be able to also view Aquila's screen. But I would like to invite 1 or 2 people to make a mention of the document they shared. So just raise up your hand. Let's have one of us raising up their hand to give us the response. Aquila, before you share, just to confirm that we are with our participants in class, give us the document that you shared in Slido. Rosina? Okay, we have Jacinta. Jacinta Mutava?
Yes, sir.
Kindly. Yes. What did you give?
Payment vouchers.
Very good. Payment vouchers. Good.
Yes, and receipts.
And receipts. Very good. Payment vouchers and receipts. We also have Joseph Mathuku. Thank you very much. You can lower your hand. Joseph Mathuku.
Yes. The checkbooks. Checkbooks.
Mm-hmm.
We have the trial balances.
Mm-hmm.
Balance sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Cash analysis book.
Yes.
The cash book.
Mm-hmm.
Bill minutes.
Mm-hmm.
School annual budgets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you. You've really made a mention of quite a number of them, huh? And this is good. This is good. Thank you, Joseph. Maybe another time when you are answering, you can put on your camera. We would like to see your face as well. I sampled some responses that I don't know whether it was because of typing or something that somebody talked about petty, and I believe that participant wanted to talk about the petty cash vouchers. And then another person talked about the books. That was too general. Another one talks about the stores. Stores cannot be an accounting document. So I think it must have escaped their attention when they were typing. But in short, we want to say that what we've sampled in terms of cash books, the cash book is the book of the original entry. And this is a book that is actually recorded daily. The cash book, whether you receive money or not, you must actually make some entry on the cash book, because there's always what is known as the balance brought down, balance carried forward and all that. So in case you don't have any particular payments coming in daily in the institution, let us be reminded that the cash book is the book where you must on a daily basis make entries, because you had an opening balance already as the day started, and in case you don't have any entries or any monies coming in, then of course the balance that you opened with will be the balance that will be brought down, and the following day, then that will be the same balance that will be brought forward. So we have also checks, ledgers, receipts, and all that you've sampled, and that reminds us that these are some of the basic documents that as school leaders we must always be in a position to explain and to know how they work. We must also have, of course, these documents in our offices. Recently, I was doing some assignment with my colleague Elijah, and we were following up on some payments that we wanted to make for the schools. And we were requesting the school leaders to issue us with invoices so that we make now the payments. So that now our institution makes the payment for venues that we actually used. But coincidentally, the school leaders could not even actually understand what an invoice is. And therefore, it is important that we don't assume that, I know we might have actually gone through these documents, but it is important in practice that we know what they are used for, what they are, so that from a very practical perspective, when you want to request for a payment of a service, then you know that, of course, for you as at the school level, you must issue an invoice as the first document that, of course, will be a request for payment. So in practice, I want to say that yes, we reminded ourselves about these documents, accounting documents that we actually have, but it is important that we actually have these documents and be able to really work out with them. Martin Kivindio has his hand up. Maybe we can give him an opportunity to say his concern. Martin? Or maybe Martin is not aware that his hand is up. Okay, Martin, if maybe your intention is not to raise a concern, then we would request that you can lower your hand. So let's proceed with our discussion, and I think we were able to remind ourselves about the accounting documents that we use for our daily operations in our institutions. Now, our second activity is an activity that we shall carry out in breakout rooms. I want to be very specific here that once in the breakout rooms, I'll expect that you choose a chairperson, and the secretary who will take notes. The same chairperson will lead the discussion by inviting the secretary to make the discussions in the plenary. And therefore, this activity is on procurement and risk management. We have been requested to look through this particular area to implement NESEP, National Education Sector Strategic Plan 2 of 2023 to 2027, and tackle the disparities in access and learning outcomes. The Ministry of Education is building classrooms and integrated learning resource centers in junior schools. So here we have been requested, one, to identify various activities to be undertaken by the school leaders in preparation for the above project. We also describe the procurement procedures. We identify the possible unethical practices and the possible risks that can occur while undertaking the above project. I'll still request our IT to guide us on how we will be joining the breakout rooms, how many breakout rooms will be there, and what we expected of us during those breakout rooms in terms of which activity shall we handle as a room. So Aquila, I invite you to guide us through this particular assignment. And I want to remind you that we are requesting that all of us be actively involved in this particular activity as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kisilu. We'll have 4 groups. The first group will identify various activities to be undertaken by the school leaders in preparation of the above project. The second group will describe the procurement procedures that an SL shall explore in undertaking the above project. The third group will identify the possible unethical practices that can likely occur while undertaking the project. The fourth group will identify the possible risk that can occur while undertaking the project. Please note to choose a chair, a secretary. The secretary will present and the chair will chair the meeting. So I hope we have taken a screenshot or written somewhere the questions. The breakout room will be 15 minutes, so time will be of essence. And
thank you very much, Aquila. Welcome back to the plenary. I think quite a few of us are yet to arrive, but then we will be now making our presentations for the various groups that have participated. I see we have dropped. We are now 38 and we are supposed to be a larger number. But nevertheless, let's move on with our discussion, and we want to get the feedback from the various teams. I will be requesting the chair of Group 1 to invite the secretary, and the secretary kindly you are free to put on your video as you make the presentation. So Group 1, to give us feedback on the activities that you have to undertake in preparation of the project. Group 1. Chair, Group 1.
Madam Gakuo is presenting on our behalf.
Thank you, our chair. Madam Gakuo, on behalf of Group 1, whereby we're supposed to identify various activities undertaken by the school leaders in preparation of the above project. Number 1, we confirm whether the amount is in their account, then call the stakeholders, inclusive of the parents, then call the BOM to assist in coming up with the PMCs as a ad hoc committee, to assist in the tendering process, to assist us get the contractor. In the tendering committee, we have the tendering, we have the evaluation whereby we set a date, we display the tenders in various areas within the environs, then do the tendering process. As we come up with a contractor, the PMC should have at least 5 people and then come up with an action plan. And then after coming up with the action plan and getting the contractor, and come up with an activity that is supposed to be done at a particular time by a particular group of people, and then keep calling the PMC as we get along. And then I think we'll be ready to continue with the activity assigned by the government at that particular time. I think that's a brief of the expectation that we are supposed to undertake in the preparation of the above projects cited. Thank you on behalf of Group 1.
Thank you, Madam Teresa. But I would like to get your clarification before you put off your video. You've talked about the BOM. What is the role of the BOM in the preparatory activities, kindly? You've talked about the tendering process. So can you clarify kindly on that? What was the discussion about in terms of the involvement
Mr.
of the
Kesiro,
BOM?
the BOM is just for information purpose. As we talk to the parents, the BOM being the overall body in management of the school, I think should also get the information at hand.
Yes.
That we have this particular amount of money, we have this process, we have been awarded this, and this is the plan that we have ahead.
In addition, the BOM is also the one that is supposed to participate in engaging or selecting the 5 members of the project management committee.
I don't think clearly, because they should be sourced from the finance, and of course, you should have a representation from the CDF.
Ideally, this team, where do we? You know, you are being you are talking about CDF as well, and maybe I don't know whether this is the case where we have CDF funds, but ideally in the mention of in the question, these are funds from the Ministry of Education and not CDF.
By the ministry, yeah, I get it. I get you.
I'm feeling there is a mix of the activities that's supposed to be carried out, because when you mention CDF, then remember the monies are coming from the Ministry of Education. And therefore, we would like to see the government procedure and the activities that we undertake. Of course, we agree the fact of confirming the availability of the finances in the school accounts. Of course, that's okay. We expect to hear about advertisements, so that of course you get the bids for those persons who will be now doing or carrying out the works and all that. However, my mind is on clarification that you made a mention about the tendering process and the BOM. If I am not wrong, clearly I want to say we have to distance now the board of management from the tendering process. But I agree with the fact that of course you must undertake the activity of ensuring that one, the funds are of course available. You confirm of course whether the monies are available in the school accounts. There's an activity that of course you can carry out. You can also do the advertisements of the activity based on the kind of work that will be carrying out and all that. There is a lot I expected to hear, but then which maybe we can involve our colleagues to get us more activities. Madam Teresa, before you leave the scene, who can give us the other? Who has a contribution to Group 1? We can still give them some contributions from the team. Hey, this is an open forum. We are in the plenary, and all of us are now required to participate. You can raise up your hand.
I think we get assisted by those who've gotten money from the ministry, because some of us have only gotten funds from the CDF. Maybe that is why we got the mix-up.
Madam Teresa, you have never received funds from your junior school leader.
Yeah, we have not received funds from the ministry unless we talk about the repairs and maintenance funds.
That is money
But
also.
when we talk about this big construction of labs and the classrooms, we are yet.
You know, there isn't anyone. What I want just the team to learn is that, the fact of the project that we have given in this question is only an example, and an example of how you replicate in all others, because the procedures are standard, the activities are standard. And here, ideally, the issue is on procurement. And procurement is basically a government procedure that follows the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015 and the regulations of 2020. So the activities are ideally very standard. And when we make reference to actually the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, then it will be easy for us. So it's not about where the source of the funds is coming from, but rather, of course, the procedures that are laid down even in legislation. So I want just to remind that the procedures, the activities are all laid out in the law, and this is the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015 and the regulations of 2020. In fact, when you are dealing with CDF, you realize that, Madam Teresa, you may not have any control of actually the financial resource. CDF, they might come with their money, they might decide to construct the classroom, and they start with roofing. So they have not done the walls, but they start with roofing. And they will have their own reasons for that. And since the resource that you want to get from them is a classroom, you wait until when the classroom will be completed. But for government-funded projects, there is a standard procedure and a standard procurement procedure that we follow with clear activities and specific persons responsible for each of those activities. However, we want to appreciate that team for a job well done. So let us actually congratulate the team for the good work that they have done. Let us go to the reactions, and we can give them a thumbs up, we can give them a clap. Yes, thank you, Peter. Thank you, Douglas, Daniel. Thank you for appreciating the team. Thank you, Madam Teresa, also for representing your team. Group 2, kindly, in the interest of time.
Good
Group
morning.
2.
Yes,
Good
yeah,
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm Susan, Group 2 Secretary, where we were to describe the procedural steps for procurement. And this one was undertaken and construction of a new class. First, we have to confirmation of the funds. After the confirmation of the funds, then we constitute an infrastructure committee. After we constitute the infrastructure committee, then we are supposed to make a budget or a BQ, after which we make an advertisement. Then we invite tenders. Then we call for a tendering committee that would go through the tendering process. After which we prepare a tendering or opening. The committee prepares a day to do the tender opening. After we open the tenders, we make a tender, we do a tender evaluation. After the evaluation, we award the tender to the lowest bidder. Then after that, we write a regret letter to the losers. After we do that, then the committee makes an agreement with the tenderer. Then
we sign the contract with the tenderer. After, as we go on, we do the monitoring and evaluation of the work, after which we sign the handing over documents to the, we sign the handing over documents. Then after which, after the work has been completed and evaluated by the team, that is the committee, we do make payments. And the procedure for the payments would be by use of a check. We call a meeting for payments, and then through a check. Before we write the check, we write write payment vouchers and let the check be signed by the authorized signatories. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Susan Nzioka, for giving us the feedback from Group 2. I can already see that Joseph is appreciating the team, and that is good. Just to clarify that procurement, actually, when we are procuring, we already have money. So procurement is the process of buying, ideally. It is the process of buying goods, works, and services. So you are starting from too far. So I would have loved to hear that the group starts with actually the fact of what are the processes when you know that now you are going to be buying for that works. What will be the activities? Just to be very precise. And thank you for the good work. I can see you've tried to jumble up at some point, but I know we are also reminding ourselves. But you know, for the activities now that you need to ensure are in place, is like now you do the advertisement. Since the money is there, you know, you already have the money. You are buying that works. You want to engage people to do that works since the monies are available, isn't it? So you advertise, you get them. Once you get the bids, you open the bids, isn't it? Yeah. And of course, after opening the bids, of course, they are evaluated. You evaluate the bids for two reasons. Of course, we know the technical reasons to know whether these persons or the persons you want to engage, of course, meet the threshold that has been actually identified in the tender documents, the requirements, both regulatory and institutional, that have been identified in the tender document. They meet also the financial aspects of the tender and all that. Then, of course, after you have evaluated, of course, now, then you are going to be awarding to those persons who win, who have won the bids. Then, of course, remember when you just notify them of an award. You don't award because remember the procurement procedure is very clear in law that there is always a window period of 14 days prior to the award. So you just issue a notification and then you give that you follow the appeals window of 14 days. Once now there is no appeal, then you invite them to come and sign the bill. So you also issue, of course, regulate letters to those who have not won the bids and all that. Then, of course, now you sign the contract and work begins. Once work begins, of course, for works, there is always the aspect of monitoring, which is also taken up by the place of inspection and acceptance committee when we are actually receiving goods and services as well. And therefore, those are some of the issues that I expected to hear, the activities. But remember, procurement does not stop at payments and all that. We must see the aspect of disposal as well. Susan,
yes.
Jacinta, Mutava, Joseph, Eliud Kisilu and team. So we must see that aspect of, the procurement is a process right from when you advertise, the work begins, all the way up to what will be disposed at the end of there are aspects of that project, of course, that there are items that will be if the project, of course, happens to be within, of course, the financial year, and there is that aspect of course, the requirement by law on disposal, then we would like to see how is disposal affecting this particular project. So we would like to see the activities that actually are happening right from the start up to the end of procurement. Basically, I wanted you to make reference to the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015 and the regulations of 2020. Nevertheless, thank you very much. You've really tried. And let us keep on reminding ourselves about this process. Let us appreciate the team as well. They started by appreciating themselves, but we can now appreciate them for a job well done. Let's go to the rest, the reactions. Dala, Miriam, thank you very much. Teresa, thank you very much. Then we move on to group 3. Group 3 quickly. The chairperson, thank you team. Group 3, you can lower your hand. Anthony. What are the possible unethical practices?
Yeah, group 3, Rosalia Gesell is the secretary. And we are required to identify the unethical practices that can occur while carrying out the project process, project. One is conflict of interest, especially when the school leader has certain interest in a supplier or the contractor. 2, failure to involve. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you very well. Just continue.
Failure to involve. Yeah, failure to involve BOM members. We know that BOM members which involve leaders, but also the community stakeholders and also the Minister of Education. There is also the third unethical practice, misappropriation of funds. I can hear some echo. I don't know what's happening. Kindly assist.
Yeah, you can. The rest of us can mute their microphones. Just continue, madam.
Misappropriation of funds, especially if we don't follow the laid down procurement procedures. There is also the failure to follow the laid down procurement procedures. The school leader may also become authoritative and also practice what to call authoritative leadership, whereby he or she dominates the whole process. We can have failure to prepare the project budget or the BQ and follow it. We also have cases whereby we may have school leaders forging signatures, having fake tendering process meeting committees, and then forging the signatures. That's what we call the whole forgery of some of the documents. We can also find ourselves engaging in corrupt deals, whereby we collude with the suppliers or the contractors, so that they may not follow the BQ. We can also have some school leaders luring the bank signatories to sign blank checks first to make payments. Another thing is allowing environment without permission from the relevant officers. Finally, colluding with the contractor so that the BQ and the whole process is not followed to the letter. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosalia. Gisele, I think that team is trying to exceed expectations from my analysis of their responses. So thank you very much, team. I think we cannot emphasize actually your feedback. It is very right. We have issues that are political, and in this process, you've really identified conflict of interest, inflation of prices, misappropriation of funds. And what is misappropriation? Joseph, what is misappropriation? Just to clarify further, Joseph Mutua, your hand is up. You can clarify.
Yeah, I can respond to that. I am in that group.
Oh yeah, Miriam, what is misappropriation? Just to put things into context.
Kisilo, I can respond to that. I am in group 3.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's open for all of us.
Yeah, misappropriation of funds is using funds not for intended purpose, not following actually the budget that has been prepared.
Very good. Actually, just stop at the fact of using the funds not for the intended purpose. That is it. So when you use funds, you've been allocated funds to construct the learning resource center, then you now decide to construct a classroom. Then you have used the money, but not for the intended purpose. So in that case, you've misappropriated. Thank you very much, Miriam, for that. They have talked about failure to follow the law. And I think here the law, specifically, you are making reference to the Public Procurement and Patent Disposal Act of 2015. Miriam, you can mute. Matters corruption, forgery, signing of blank checks, of course, NEVICO, of course, environment, of course, there's a procedure for the same, and of course, you don't expect it to happen in such kind of a project. Or even, of course, now, collusion with the contractors for personal gain. So thank you very much, team. I think we have gotten the right responses for that particular question, and we want to appreciate you for that. We want now to move to the last group, group 4. So let us have the presentation from the last group. Group 4. Group 4. Hey, what is happening? Didn't we have group 4? Peter.
Yeah, I was in group 4, not as a member, just to guide them, but
But I can see Joseph Mafuku hand is up. Was
Yes.
he a member?
Richard Onesimus, who was coordinating and who was to take notes.
You can unmute yourselves.
Richard.
Okay. I can respond. Silo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Joseph Mavuku.
Yes.
We were in group 4, and our task was to look at the failures, or look at to identify the possible risks that can occur while undertaking the above project. That's construction of a classroom. The one we said, one is the failure to adhere to the school safety standards, manual regulations, because that regulation talks about how a class should be constructed, the spacing of the classrooms, how the windows should look like, how the doors should look like. Then number 2, if we source unqualified personnel to undertake the project, e.g. the masons, the electricians. We can have some risks because of electricity, and also the walls, the class may collapse due to sourcing the unqualified personnel. Then number 3, we have talked about sourcing poor substandard building. And then we have also talked of
it's like sorry, just it's like we lost you for this for that point.
Okay.
We are yes.
I have said sourcing poor quality materials, sourcing for poor quality materials, which will lead to substandard building, which may collapse at the end of the day. Then we also talked of under budgeting, whereby we get we have few funds against a lot of funds required to complete the building. We have also talked of overpricing of items, we also talked of quality of interest. And lastly, we said lack of approved documents. Either school does not have a certificate of registration, and the failure also to engage the public works. People that assess how the building will look like, where are you building the structure. So we said if we don't involve these people as public health officers and also public health works people, we may end up having some risks at the end of the day after getting the project. And that was what we discussed.
Thank you very much, Joseph.
Yes.
I can see Musyoki's hand is up. Musyoki Mwanya, do you want to maybe chip in? Musyoki, your hand is up. Or maybe Musyoki is not aware that the hand is up. So thank you very much, Group 4. I like the idea of the discussion, but we would like to really anchor your points of discussion in terms of the various risks that are identifiable in each of the steps of this particular undertaking this particular project. And one, I would like to appreciate the team for first identifying the fact that it would be a risk if we don't follow the school safety and standards manual, because ideally, you know that this one highlights how the environment should be when undertaking a particular project. One, we are required to ensure that we actually condone, or we ensure that there is the project area is protected from access by the learners. Since, of course, the access to the site would pose a lot of danger. Of course, you know how construction sites look like. And basically in junior school, we would be posing a danger when we allow our learners just to access the sites. If we follow the school safety and standards manual, then definitely we will follow the procedures that are laid down in ensuring safety of the learners, safety of the project, and safety of all the persons involved. You talked about a risk around the award of the tenders, but I would tie that one up with evaluation of bids. If you don't evaluate the bids alongside the technical and the financial aspects, then there are possible risks that are tied to that. One, if the person who is actually going or you are evaluating does not meet the requirements, then of course there's a possible risk that can be attached to that. For example, the risk of non-compliance to requirements, this person should be registered. They must be registered with the National Construction Authority. They must have this certificate. They must have a TCC, tax compliance certificate, and all that. So what we are saying is that when we are evaluating the bids, then of course we don't undertake evaluation of the bids alongside the technical and financial aspects, then there are also a possibility of risks tied to that. Quality of the materials. So if we don't monitor closely the kind of materials that are also going to be used for the construction, then of course we are likely to also get into a danger and to a risk of also a low quality product, and we know what that will be associated with. Of course, under budgeting, you made a mention about under budgeting, but of course, for this one, of course, in the first place, we have a budget that we believe was sufficient enough. So maybe what could happen is when now we inflate prices for commodities that will go into this project, and therefore we fail to complete the activity because of course, overpricing of items and all that. So thank you very much, team. I think this has been a very healthy discussion. Let us also appreciate the team. Let us put our cameras on. Let us put our cameras on. All of us, now we can put our cameras on. We now want to have our cameras on. We want to appreciate the last group. And we want to appreciate them in a special way. We want to appreciate them the way we appreciate the hearing impaired. And this is how we do it. So we are all going to appreciate this team this way. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Maria, we can't see you appreciate. Thank you. Thank you very much, team 4 for that. Thank you very much. You can put off your cameras. And now we can now proceed with our discussion. And I think we will now proceed to look at the last part of our presentation this morning. And this is about our extended learning activity for Unit 4. In this unit, it is expected that we continually improve in the manner in which we shall submit our artifacts, or we shall make our submission for the e-portfolio. It is a request that we are encouraging our participants to ensure that you revisit your e-portfolio submissions. And since Aquila took us through a reminder of how we can edit our e-portfolio submissions, we would like you to actually identify strategies which, as a school leader, you can implement to effectively allocate resources in alignment with the school priorities and goals, while ensuring optimal utilization and improved educational outcomes. For this extended learning activity, we would request that you write down the strategies, take a picture, and then upload. But remember, this is not the whole idea behind this particular extended learning activity. The idea behind this extended learning activity is to ensure that we learn. And even when now we are submitting this as part of our course requirement, we are required to reflect that artifact, that picture that you'll take and upload. We would like to see that picture speaking to us in terms of what reflection have you made on that particular picture in terms of what you are doing as an assignment. So it is not just the idea of now putting down the points very well, the paper, then you take a picture, then you upload that. We want rich e-portfolios from your participants, and e-portfolios that will reflect, of course, or will show a mapping or a translation of knowledge into practice. And therefore, we would like to see your artifacts that are well reflected upon before you even upload them. So this is a reminder that for every of the units that we shall be covering, then it is expected that we make a submission of the extended learning activity in the form of an e-portfolio submission. For e-portfolio submissions, we will require that you reflect on them. Let us see a linkage between the artifact and, of course, the content that or what it is all about. So we would like to encourage that you continually revisit the extended learning activities with a view of enriching your e-portfolio. Remember, the reason why we are doing all this is because the assessment criteria for this course identifies the e-portfolio as one of the areas where we have a lot of weight going into. Indeed, 50% of all assessment for this course is in the e-portfolio. And that is the reason why we would like to see that in each of the extended learning activities, we give rich information that has been reflected upon, and artifacts that are clear, that are of the right quality, and that are uploaded as required. So this actually is what we expect of you during this particular, during, of course, a review of the extended learning activity, and even as we wind up on Unit 4, which is on effective resource management. Otherwise, colleagues, thank you very much. That is what I wanted us to share during this particular session. We will be taking a short break. And we will be coming in for our next session. So that is all that we wanted us to cover in terms of Unit 4, not unless my colleagues have anything to add. Peter, anything that you have to on this unit? Aquila? Okay. Elijah, my colleague, thank you very much. So we'll be taking a short break. You can enjoy your tea, and then we will be coming back to class at exactly 11:30 and to do Unit 5, a review of Unit 5 up to 1. Then we break for today. So asanteni sana. Teresa, I can see your hand is up. Maybe you have a concern, even as we wind up on Unit 4 in terms of review. Teresa, your hand is up. Maybe Teresa is not aware that the hand is up. So thank you very much for listening to us and for being with us. It's our hope that you enjoy the session. Let's have a short break. We enjoy our tea, and then we resume at exactly 11:30. So we will expect you to be in the class by around 11:15, 11:20, thereabout. Enjoy your short break.
The approach of app-based is okay because we are living in a technology world. You cannot learn from technology. So one thing I like, because you are being trained how to use these apps, so it is for us to embrace it. And to me, I see it is a wonderful one because we have to embrace technology, whether you like it or not. We are living in the world of technology.
The challenges that mostly are found in schools, you will find that there are there is teacher shortage. There is also lack of infrastructure. Mostly those two affect the school setup. And before we even, or TSC, send some teachers to our schools, we use the primary school teachers to teach those learners in the junior schools. Now, when they came, still we found that they are not enough. They are not adequate to teach those lessons or the learners. And therefore, what we also do, you find that we have now to take some teachers from the primary level so that they can assist them. As we know, most of the schools right now, possibly if they have many teachers, they may only be 3. Like my school, I only have three teachers. And looking at the number of subjects that they're supposed to be taught, that is why now you have to take those teachers from the primary level so that they can assist in those areas. Now, when we come to the lack of infrastructure, like we may not be having enough, or the government has not yet built up to now some classes. So we normally use those classes that they used previously when they were in primary, so that they can learn from there. And then since they are in junior school, we expect them to be sitting on lockers. But since up to now we don't have enough funds to buy those lockers, that is why we make them use those basics that they used in the primary section. When it comes to lack of laboratories, that is where now we take them to the nearby schools, secondary schools, so that they can at least learn some of those areas that need some laboratories.
One of the major challenges I'm facing is on human resource. Like as for now, I have 2 grades 7 and 8, with only 3 teachers. And these teachers take specific subject. So you realize that some of the subjects are not catered for.
One big challenge is understaffing, which we have tried to solve it by taking up qualified teachers from the primary level to take up some subjects in the JSS. And in terms of ICT, we tried to provide some tools, make sure they're available, giving the teachers bundles, making sure we maintain those tools so that they'll be able to teach efficiently.
We have biasness, and this one comes from the men. I'm sorry to say, men look down upon women, and they are very biased. You can hear that a third of this group must be women. Then you find that there is only one woman among so many men, and the men don't even feel whether they have done something wrong, because of that biasness and looking down upon the women. Again, we have discrimination in women leadership. Women are so much discriminated. I don't know, because of their nature. I don't know, they are said they are lazy. They are discriminated on several lines. I don't know why. And the women are equal to the task, and they can really deliver.
The age brackets that we are in dictates that, because when we were getting into service 30 years ago, 25 years ago, that was the trend. But watch this space. In the next 5 years, it will be difficult to get men in leadership positions. It will be up to, majority of these positions will be taken up by women. Look at the young generation. Those heads in their 40s, actually the women are making up to 75%. We are serving the schools. That is the position. So it is a matter of time. Yes.
People have not been out to go and take because they believe they'll be separated from family or something like that. So they are shying away from taking leadership roles. This training is very important at this level because we are getting a lot of information that we are not sure of. And it has come at the right time because it's going to make us better, more effective leaders than we were before. And because of the new technology that's coming in, we believe we are going to get to be stronger and be able to monitor the curriculum implementation well in our institutions.
I appreciate the organizers came in VUB. It's a very wonderful training. It will help me as a leader to become an efficient leader. Because from here I'll go and cascade what I have learned to my, first of all, to my teachers and also to my fellow head teachers in my zone. So to me, it is a wonderful training. The approach of app-based is okay because we are living in a technology world. You cannot learn from technology. So one thing I like, because we are being trained how to use these apps, so it is for us to embrace it. And to me, I see it is a wonderful one because we have to embrace technology, whether you like it or not. We are living in the world of technology.
The challenges that mostly are found in schools, you will find that there is teacher shortage. There is also lack of infrastructure. Mostly those two affect the school setup. And before we even, or TSC, send some teachers to our schools, we use the primary school teachers to teach those learners in the junior schools. Now, when they came, still we found that they are not enough. They are not adequate to teach those lessons or the learners. And therefore, what we also do, you find that we have now to take some teachers from the primary level so that they can assist them. As we know, most of the schools right now, possibly if they have many teachers, they may only be 3. Like my school, I only have three teachers. And looking at the number of subjects that they are supposed to be taught, that is why now you have to take those teachers from the primary level so that they can assist in those areas. Now, when we come to the lack of infrastructure, like we may not be having enough, or the government has not yet built up to now some classes. So we normally use those classes that they used previously when they were in primary, so that they can learn from there. And then since they are in junior school, we expect them to be sitting on lockers. But since up to now we don't have enough funds to buy those lockers, that is why we make them use those basics that they used in the primary section. When it comes to lack of laboratories, that is when now we take them to the nearby schools, secondary schools, so that they can at least learn some of those areas that need some laboratories.
One of the major challenges I'm facing is on human resource. Like as for now, I have 2 grades, grade 7 and 8, with only 3 teachers. And these teachers take specific subject. So you realize that some of the subjects are not catered for.
One big challenge is understaffing, which we have tried to solve it by taking up qualified teachers from the primary level to take up some subjects in the JSS. And in terms of ICT, we tried to provide some tools, make sure they're available, giving the teachers bundles, making sure we maintain those tools so that they'll be able to teach efficiently.
We have biasness. And this one comes from the men, I'm sorry to say. Men look down upon women, and they are very biased. You can hear that a third of this group must be women. Then you find that there is only one woman among so many men, and the men don't even feel whether they have done something wrong, because of that biasness and looking down upon the women. Again, we have discrimination in women leadership. Women are so much discriminated. I don't know, because of their nature. I don't know, they are said they are lazy. They are discriminated on several lines. I don't know why. And the women are equal to the task, and they can really deliver.
The age bracket that we are in dictates that, because when we were getting into service 30 years ago, 25 years ago, that was the trend. But watch this space. In the next 5 years, it will be difficult to get men in leadership positions. It will be up to, majority of these positions will be taken up by women. Look at the young generation. Those heads in their 40s, actually the women are making up to 75%. We are serving the schools. That is the position. So it is a matter of time. Yes.
People have not been out to go and take, because they believe they'll be separated from family or something like that, so they are shying away from taking leadership roles. This training is very important at this level, because we are getting a lot of information that we are not sure of. And it has come at the right time, because it's going to make us better, more effective leaders than we were before. And because of the new technology that's coming in, we believe we are going to get to be strong and be able to monitor the curriculum implementation well in our institutions.
I appreciate the organizers came in VOB. It's a very wonderful training. It will help me as a leader to become an efficient leader. Because from here I'll go and cascade what I have learned to my, first of all, to my teachers and also to my fellow head teachers in my zone. So to me, it is a wonderful training. The approach of app-based is okay because we are living in a technology world. You cannot learn from technology. So one thing I like, because we are being trained how to use these apps, so it is for us to embrace it. And to me, I see it is a wonderful one because we have to embrace technology, whether you like it or not. We are living in the world of technology.
The challenges that mostly are found in schools, you will find that there is teacher shortage. There is also lack of infrastructure. Mostly those two affect the school setup. And before we even, or TSC, send some teachers to our schools, we use the primary school teachers to teach those learners in the junior schools. Now, when they came, still we found that they are not enough. They are not adequate to teach those lessons or the learners. And therefore, what we also do, you find that we have now to take some teachers from the primary level so that they can assist them. As we know, most of the schools right now, possibly if they have many teachers, they may only be 3. Like my school, I only have three teachers. And looking at the number of subjects that they are supposed to be taught, that is why now you have to take those teachers from the primary level so that they can assist in those areas. Now, when we come to the lack of infrastructure, like we may not be having enough, or the government has not yet built up to now some classes. So we normally use those classes that they used previously when they were in primary, so that they can learn from there. And then since they are in junior school, we expect them to be sitting on lockers. But since up to now we don't have enough funds to buy those lockers, that is why we make them use those basics that they used in the primary section. When it comes to lack of laboratories, that is where now we take them to the nearby schools, secondary schools, so that they can at least learn some of those areas that need some laboratories.
One of the major challenges I'm facing is on human resource. Like as for now, I have 2 grades, grade 7 and 8, with only 3 teachers. And these teachers take specific subject. So you realize that some of the subjects are not catered for.
One big challenge is understaffing, which we have tried to solve it by taking up qualified teachers from the primary level to take up some subjects in the JSS. And in terms of ICT, we tried to provide some tools, make sure they're available, giving the teachers bundles, making sure we maintain those tools so that they'll be able to teach efficiently.
We have biasness. Biasness And this one comes from the men, I'm sorry to say. Men look down upon women, and they are very biased. You can hear that two-thirds of a third of this group must be women. Then you find that there is only one woman among so many men, and the men don't even feel whether they have done something wrong because of that biasness and looking down upon the women. Again, we have discrimination in women leadership. Women are so much discriminated. I don't know, because of their nature. I don't know, they are said they are lazy. They are discriminated on several lines. I don't know why. And the women are equal to the task, and they can really deliver.
The age bracket that we are in dictates that, because when we were getting into service 30 years ago, 25 years ago, that was the trend. But watch this space. In the next 5 years, it will be difficult to get men in leadership positions. It will be up to, majority of these positions will be taken up by women. Look at the young generation. Those heads in their 40s, actually the women are making up to 75%. We are serving the schools. That is the position. So it is a matter of time. Yes.
People have not been out to go and take, because they believe they'll be separated from family or something like that, so they are shying away from taking leadership roles. This training is very important at this level, because we are getting a lot of information that we are not sure of. And it has come at the right time, because it's going to make us better, more effective leaders than we were before. And because of the new technology that's coming in, we believe you're going to get to be strong and be able to monitor the curriculum implementation well in our institutions.
I appreciate the organizers came in VUB. It's a very wonderful training. It will help me as a leader to become an efficient leader. Because from here I'll go and cascade what I have learned to my, first of all, to my teachers, and also to my fellow head teachers in my zone. So to me, it is a wonderful training. The approach of app-based is okay, because we are living in a technology world. You cannot learn from technology. So one thing I like, because you are being trained how to use these apps, so it is for us to embrace it. And to me, I see it is a wonderful one, because we have to embrace technology, whether you like it or not. We are living in the world of technology.
The challenges that mostly are found in schools, you will find that there is teacher shortage. There is also lack of infrastructure. Mostly those two affect the school setup. And before we even, or TSC, send some teachers to our schools, we use the primary school teachers to teach those learners in the junior schools. Now, when they came, still we found that they are not enough. They are not adequate to teach those lessons or the learners. And therefore, what we also do, you find that we have now to take some teachers from the primary level so that they can assist them. As we know, most of the schools right now, possibly if they have many teachers, they may only be 3. Like my school, I only have three teachers. And looking at the number of subjects that they are supposed to be taught, that is why now you have to take those teachers from the primary level so that they can assist in those areas. Now, when we come to the lack of infrastructure, like we may not be having enough, or the government has not yet built up to now some classes. So we normally use those classes that they used previously when they were in primary, so that they can learn from there. And then since they are in junior school, we expect them to be sitting on lockers. But since up to now we don't have enough funds to buy those lockers, that is why we make them use those basics that they used in the primary section. When it comes to lack of laboratories, that is where now we take them to the nearby schools, secondary schools, so that they can at least learn some of those areas that need some laboratories.
One of the major challenges I'm facing is on human resource. As for now, I have 2 grades, grades 7 and 8, with only 3 teachers. And these teachers take specific subject. So you realize that some of the subjects are not catered for.
One big challenge is understaffing, which we have tried to solve it by taking up qualified teachers from the primary level to take up some subjects in the JSS. And in terms of ICT, we tried to provide some tools, make sure they're available, giving the teachers bundles, making sure we maintain those tools so that they'll be able to teach efficiently.
We have biasness, and this one comes from the men. I'm sorry to say, men look down upon women, and they are very biased. You can hear that 2/3 of a third of this group must be women. Then you find that there is only one woman among so many men, and the men don't even feel whether they have done something wrong, because of that biasness and looking down upon the women. Again, we have discrimination in women leadership. Women are so much discriminated. I don't know, because of their nature. I don't know, they are said they are lazy. They are discriminated on several lines. I don't know why. And the women are equal to the task, and they can really deliver.
The age bracket that we are in dictates that, because when we were getting into service 30 years ago, 25 years ago, that was the trend. But watch this space. In the next 5 years, it will be difficult to get men in leadership positions. It will be up to, majority of these positions will be taken up by women. Look at the young generation. Those heads in their 40s, actually the women are making up to 75%. We are serving the schools. That is the position. So it is a matter of time. Yes.
People have not been out to go and take because they believe they'll be separated from family or something like that. So they are shying away from taking leadership roles. This training is very important at this level because we are getting a lot of information that we're not sure of. And it has come at the right time because it's going to make us better, more effective leaders than we were before. And because of the new technology that's coming in, we believe we are going to get to be stronger and be able to monitor the curriculum implementation well in our institutions.
I appreciate the organizers came in VUB. It's a very wonderful training. It will help me as a leader to become an efficient leader. Because from here I'll go and cascade what I have learned to my, first of all, to my teachers and also to my fellow head teachers in my zone. So to me, it is a wonderful training. The approach of app-based is okay because we are living in a technology world. You cannot learn from technology. So one thing I like, because we are being trained how to use these apps, so it is for us to embrace it. And to me, I see it is a wonderful one because we have to embrace technology, whether you like it or not. We are living in the world of technology.
The challenges that mostly are found in schools, you will find that there is teacher shortage. There is also lack of infrastructure. Mostly those two affect the school setup. And before we even, or TSC, send some teachers to our schools, we use the primary school teachers to teach those learners in the junior schools. Now, when they came, still we found that they are not enough. They are not adequate to teach those lessons or the learners. And therefore, what we also do, you find that we have now to take some teachers from the primary level so that they can assist them. As we know, most of the schools right now, possibly if they have many teachers, they may only be 3. Like my school, I only have three teachers. And looking at the number of subjects that they're supposed to be taught, that is why now you have to take those teachers from the primary level so that they can assist in those areas. Now, when we come to the lack of infrastructure, like we may not be having enough, or the government has not yet built up to now some classes. So we normally use those classes that they used previously when they were in primary, so that they can learn from there. And then since they are in junior school, we expect them to be sitting on lockers. But since up to now we don't have enough funds to buy those lockers, that is why we make them use those basics that they used in the primary section. When it comes to lack of laboratories, that is when now we take them to the nearby schools, secondary schools, so that they can at least learn some of those areas that need some laboratories.
One of the major challenges I'm facing is on human resource. Like as for now, I have 2 grades, grade 7 and 8, with only 3 teachers. And these teachers take specific subject. So you realize that some of the subjects are not catered for.
One big challenge is understaffing, which we have tried to solve it by taking up qualified teachers from the primary level to take up some subjects in the JSS. And in terms of ICT, we tried to provide some tools, make sure they're available, giving the teachers bundles, making sure we maintain those tools so that they'll be able to teach efficiently.
We have biasness. And this one comes from the men, I'm sorry to say. Men look down upon women, and they are very biased. You can hear that 2/3 of a third of this group must be women. Then you find that there is only one woman among so many men, and the men don't even feel whether they have done something wrong because of that biasness and looking down upon the women. Again, we have discrimination in women leadership. Women are so much discriminated. I don't know, because of their nature. I don't know, they are said they are lazy. They are discriminated on several lines. I don't know why. And the women are equal to the task, and they can really deliver.
The age bracket that we are in dictates that, because when we were getting into service 30 years ago, 25 years ago, that was the trend. But watch this space. In the next 5 years, it will be difficult to get men in leadership positions. It will be up to, majority of these positions will be taken up by women. Look at the young generation. Those heads in their 40s, actually the women are making up to 75%. We are serving the schools. That is the position. So it is a matter of time. Yes.
People have not been out to go and take, because they believe they'll be separated from family or something like that, so they are shying away from taking leadership roles. This training is very important at this level, because we are getting a lot of information that we are not sure of. And it has come at the right time, because it's going to make us better, more effective leaders than we were before. And because of the new technology that's coming in, we believe we are going to get to be stronger and be able to monitor the curriculum implementation well in our institutions.
I appreciate the organizers came in VUB. It's a very wonderful training. It will help me as a leader to become an efficient leader. Because from here I'll go and cascade what I have learned to my, first of all, to my teachers, and also to my fellow head teachers in my
learned a lot about the
we have biasness. Biasness, and this one comes from the men, I'm sorry to say. Men look down upon women, and they are very biased. You can hear that two-thirds of a third of this group must be women. Then you find that there is only one woman among so many men, and the men don't even feel whether they have done something wrong because of that biasness and looking down upon the women. Again, we have discrimination in women leadership. Women are so much discriminated. I don't know, because of their nature. I don't know, they are said they are lazy. They are discriminated on several lines. I don't know why. And the women are equal to the task, and they can really deliver.
The age bracket that we are in dictates that, because when we were getting into service 30 years ago, 25 years ago, that was the trend. But watch this space. In the next 5 years, it will be difficult to get men in leadership positions. It will be up to, majority of these positions will be taken up by women. Look at the young generation. Those heads in their 40s, actually the women are making up to 75%. We are serving the schools. That is the position. So it is a matter of time. Yes.
We have biasness. Biasness, and this one comes from the men, I'm sorry to say. Men look down upon women, and they are very biased. You can hear that two-thirds of a third of this group must be women. Then you find that there is only one woman among so many men, and the men don't even feel whether they have done something wrong because of that biasness and looking down upon the women. Again, we have discrimination in women leadership. Women are so much discriminated. I don't know, because of their nature. I don't know, they are said they are lazy. They are discriminated on several lines. I don't know why. And the women are equal to the task, and they can really deliver.
The age bracket that we are in dictates that, because when we were getting into service 30 years ago, 25 years ago, that was the trend. But watch this space. In the next 5 years, it will be difficult to get men in leadership positions. It will be up to, majority of these positions will be taken up by women. Look at the young generation. Those heads in their 40s, actually the women are making up to 75%. We are serving the schools. That is the position. So it is a matter of time. Yes.
We have biasness. Biasness, and this one comes from the men, I'm sorry to say. Men look down upon women, and they are very biased. You can hear that two-thirds of a third of this group.
So we want to welcome you back to class, colleagues. We can see we are around 29 of us. In fact, minus the 3 of us, we are 26 participants in class. So I don't know how we are going to mobilize our colleagues to be back. In the interest of time, we need to start with Unit 5, Teacher and Learner Welfare, shortly. So we need to start because we want to keep time. So if you have a friend who is not in class, kindly you could also notify them to join us so that we just proceed with our discussion this morning. So I hope from your hand you're able to see my screen, those who are in class. Kindly let me get a response, or if you could be able to view my screen from your end.
We can see. It's okay.
Oh, it's okay, yeah?
Yeah,
All
it's
right. Thank you. So we hope you've enjoyed your break. And now we would like to continue our discussion. We would like to continue our discussion, and our discussion is on learner and staff welfare. So ideally, our discussion here will be based on how we have to keep and maintain the welfare of both our learners and the welfare of our staff. Remember, staff is an all-inclusive term. When we talk about staff, here we are making reference to, of course, the teaching staff, which are the teachers, and also the support system or support staff of the school, which includes now the rest of the staff that, of course, support the main function of teaching and learning in the school, the people in the kitchen, the people in the grounds, the drivers, the security officers, all that, of course, team could be referred to as the support staff. So this is how our lesson will be delivered. We shall actually have an introduction to this very unit. We will prepare for group discussions, have them, and then we shall have now discussions in the plenary, and then lastly we have a discussion on the extended learning activity for Unit 5. Ideally, the discussions will take shape as they did in Unit 4. So we are not making any departure from our last session. Ideally, what we experienced during our last session is what we shall be experiencing during this particular session. So these areas and staff and the learner welfare, of course, were able to expose us to thematic concerns like psychosocial support for learners. Remember, the learners that we have in junior schools, of course, are going through a transition period in most of the dimensions. These are learners who are preteens, and of course, now they are entering, of course, the adolescence stage, and therefore we expect a lot of changes in terms of their physical development for both boys and girls. Remember, the very idea of the junior school itself is a very new concern, and these are the pioneers. And therefore, the kind of departure that they are making from the previous system, where they can see their brothers, their sisters, their friends are in, then of course can also affect them socially and psychosocially and psychologically as well. So remember, we are introducing new learning areas in junior school, and therefore being the pioneers of the new curriculum dispensation, then of course there has been a lot of shifts in terms of the learning areas. Remember, previously, even the Presidential Working Party report through, of course, the participation of the stakeholders, then gave direction to KICD to review the learning areas from 14 to 9, and therefore that kind of shift is likely to affect learners. We cannot distance ourselves from the idea of health and safety when we are talking about the welfare of our staff and learners, school health and safety. So remember, of course, school health and safety is one of the dimensions of child-friendly schools. We are required to ensure that as school leaders, our learners are learning in safe environments. We are also giving them the very best in terms of health and nutrition. We are giving them balanced diet. We are ensuring that, of course, their environment is free from disease and all that. Then lastly, of course, on matters staff management, remember staff are persons. This is part of human resource. And of course, it is very important that, of course, we get to understand better. We have the skills, the competencies that are required of us in terms of staff management. So those are the areas that, of course, the main thematic areas under this particular unit, Unit 5. So then we will start our session with an activity. And here we would like to maybe get a glimpse or an idea of maybe the likely challenges that our learners are going through, and that could impact on their well-being and their successful transition in junior school. So we want to scan the environment, even as we talk about the fact of support, psychosocial support to our learners, their welfare. We want to scan around the environment of our schools and see the likely challenges that our learners could be facing and how they impact on their well-being and successful transition. So I'll invite my brother Aquila to take us through this activity so that we can actually be able to be in a position of maybe laying ground for our discussion later in the lesson. So welcome, Aquila.
Thank you, Mr. Kisilu. Maybe I can start sharing my screen. So this activity has 4 questions. So the first question will be done by group 1, which is identify challenges learners in your school might face that impact on being and impact on their well-being and successful transition into junior school. Group 2, identify strategies that a school leader can employ to effectively foster a supportive social environment, enhancing the well-being and successful transitioning of learners in junior school. Group 3 will do the Sarah, the new head of institution at Missouri, discovers that the new school building is in poor condition. Group 4 will do how can you, as a school leader, effectively empower and support school staff to enhance collaboration, professional development, and job satisfaction. So when we take you to the group, please choose the chair and the secretary in the shortest time possible. And the participants. Yes, and participants should participate. There should be no silence. Over to you, Mr. Kisilu.
Thank you very much, Brother Aquila, for that and for sharing the assignment beforehand. Just like you can see, we have a discussion that centers around 4 areas, and you will be in 4 breakout rooms. I realized last time you were not able to quickly get the question that was for your group. Remember, we will distribute you automatically from the system, and therefore you'll only find yourself in a group. It is therefore advised that you take a snapshot of these particular questions so that based on where you will be, then of course you can be able to make a reference to quickly. Then take the shortest time possible also to organize yourselves in those groups and identify the person leading the discussion and the secretary who will present. So I think those are that is the guidance that I wanted us to get even as we break into the rooms. Maybe we need to confirm whether you are able to take a snapshot of this particular assignment, even as we put into breakout rooms. So we give you 1 minute to do that, or even 30 seconds to do that, and then Aquila will release us into the various rooms. Back to you, Aquila.
In 1 minute, I'll take you to the breakout rooms. Question 4. Please, Daniel Mule, mute. Let's maintain the Zoom etiquette. Yeah.
He was asking a question.
Oh, you're asking a question. You can ask. Group 4 question is not related. I think you have internet issues. I can't hear you well. Let me write on the chat. Yeah, write on the chat, please. So I hope everyone has seen. I'll post the same on the chat. Also. The breakout rooms have started.
So we are already in group 2. We're meeting group 2. So
Aki sisikii mtu mimi.
Kawa ni wa group gani?
Group 4.
Mimi ni wa group.
Kwani tumepotea? Aquila, kindly take me back to group 4.
So as we come back to the plenary, let us observe the delegates. Some of us are on radio and their gadgets are on, others are in the shamba. Your videos are on. Lois, you are back in the plenary, like you are trying to request Aquila to place you in group 4. The breakout rooms are done. We are now back in the plenary. And now we are ready to start receiving the responses from the various teams. So, karibuni sana. Welcome back to the plenary. I trust that you had some fruitful discussions for the last 15 minutes. And therefore, we would like to get a feedback based on the various areas that we requested that we discuss on. And we will start with Group 1. So, Chair and Secretary Group 1, kindly give us the responses.
Right. I was chosen as the secretary to Group 1. Are you hearing me, Mr. Kisilu?
I can hear and see you very well, Joseph.
Thank you. So,
yes.
So we were tackling this activity of identifying challenges of learners in our school that might face that. Identify challenges learners in your school might face that could impact on their well-being and successful transition into junior school. So we identified that there are areas, for example, one, age factor. Remember, these learners transited to junior school when they are from grade 6, and the type of learning areas, they cover a lot of work, which is not worthy to these learners. Number 2, lack of enough resources in their schools, including finances and materials that are needed in different learning areas. Parents may not afford to facilitate these learners with those materials in their junior school. Number 3, we talked about the expectations of these learners. These learners, as they studied in their curriculum, the 844 system was had as a succession, whereby learners transited from the primary schools and they joined secondary school. So the learners who are joining now the junior school are in the same schools. So there is a low self-esteem on these learners because they are just assisting on the same schools and they needed new environment so that they can also explore. That means that the environment does not match with the learner's expectation. There is also expectation from the teachers and the old system. There was that we have set with the multiple chain very well. In this new system,
Joseph,
the learners are
Joseph.
Sorry.
We have your network had an issue. You can give us that 4th point kindly, if you won't mind.
Sorry?
You can repeat your 4th point, yes.
All right.
After expectations that lead to low self-esteem, there's something else that you are trying. Then there was some interruption on network.
Okay, thank you. I was talking about the expectation from the parents and also the teachers on the performance of the learners as they join the junior school. You remember there before, the learners used to perform very well. When it came to 844 system, marks were awarded. There were objective questions where pupils could choose answers. In this new system, learners are supposed to explain themselves. They are supposed to demonstrate. They are also supposed to do a lot of activities. In the previous, they were just choosing answers and they were given high percentages. So learners are now at that crossroads. Number 5, the learning materials and the infrastructure in junior school does not meet the expectation of these learners, and more especially when they need their facilities in their laboratories. The classes are even not enough, and the facilities are also limited to them. Teachers are not adequately trained to handle subject areas. Remember, junior secondary school teachers who have been posted to the schools were given different subject areas which they are not specialized in. So sometimes you may even find the learners are more equipped with the knowledge than the teachers, because these are teachers who are coming from universities. They handle different subjects. For example, a teacher who has been trained on English literature finds in a school is given to teach mathematics, and they cannot be able to handle such a lesson. Then lack of proper guidelines in the new system, and more especially when it comes to career choosing. These learners cannot be able to choose their career because they don't know the area they are good in, because all the subject areas are mixed up. So those are the points that the challenge learners may face as they join the junior secondary schools. Again, these learners are at their adolescence stages, and due to the influence on the things that they are being taught. In fact, we are talking about technology, introducing technology in their studies. So the influence of the technology, if they are not guided well, they may lead these learners to know more things about themselves. And this may lead to, due to the peer pressure, it may pose a challenge as these learners interact with technology and internet. So I think with those points, these are major challenges that learners are facing in our schools. But with the teachers and the guidance from everybody who is involved and the stakeholders, I think the challenges can be what? Can maybe mitigated in a way.
Mitigated. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph, for that wonderful presentation. I think you have really exceeded expectations.
Thank you so much.
We need to, and I can see already they are appreciating you. And then we have, I don't know whether Rosalia wants to add some points. Rosalia Kisele, you can also...
A point on the influence of ICT technology.
Yes.
We may have child early pregnancies and drug abuse. Yeah.
How are they connected to that?
ICT, you see, when they explore and they use their phones from the parents, they may even get this cyber, I don't know how to call them. These guys who are ever on phones, WhatsApp, Facebook.
Cyberbullying
that
and
influence.
Yes.
Cyberbullying. And even those liars, they may lure these young learners into early pregnancy and also drug abuse.
Thank you, Rosalia, for chipping in and adding to what Joseph Mutua has given us. Benson Muindi, you still would like to add something to what Joseph has presented? Benson Muindi, your hand is up. Who else is also able to give us any challenge that maybe they feel Joseph has not put across? But ideally, even as we prepare even to have another person on board chipping in, we really want to thank Joseph for that clear explanation into the challenges that, of course, our learners are likely to be facing. Of course, I think you've really made a cross-section of the challenges, right from age, because of the fact that these learners are in preteens, and of course, they are transiting, of course, in terms of growth and development into adolescence. And of course, there's likely to be a lot of interference in terms of when they try to actually, of course, fit themselves into this very new environment. You've really made the mention of quite a number of challenges, including lack of adequate resources, both human, of course, that cut across the teachers, and physical as well, of course, whereby, of course, we are expected to have quite a number of physical infrastructure like the labs and of course now we are told we should share. I know that has come up with a challenge that might actually affect the performance of our learners. Of course, you have also mentioned about assessment as a nightmare. Assessment of the new curriculum, of course, has taken another shape. And remember, now we are no longer doing exams, but now doing assessment. And in terms of stakeholders, they may not really be able to understand clearly the relationship between maybe the scoring that, of course, there are other learners who are in the order dispensation 844 vis-a-vis, of course, what remarks we are giving our learners in junior school. So you realize that, of course, for our parents, they are used to the scoring of marks and, of course, grading. But of course, now here we are using quite a number of assessment criteria, rubrics, and the e-portfolio, and the parents as stakeholders may not really link the assessment with the achievement of the learners. So we need really to build the capacity of our stakeholders in terms of what is the relationship between the new assessment criteria and the performance of our learners. So there's a clear disconnect between the criterion for assessment and, of course, what our stakeholders get to understand. You've talked about challenges in terms of teaching staff, in terms of their understaffing, and relevance of placement, whereby, of course, teachers trained in a certain area specific, and of course, now they are posted to teach in a learning area where they need to also start learning afresh. So thank you very much, Team One, for that very good presentation on the challenges that our learners are likely to be going through even as they transit, and that is likely to affect. So Joseph, thank you very much, and Team One, for the good work. This is the kind of team spirit that we expect to have even in the other groups as we move forward. Asanteni sana. So we move on to group two. Group two, I think they were looking at strategies. So I welcome the leadership of group two. I think it was Veronica to lead us through that. But before then, we need to appreciate that team. Let us go to the reactions and let us appreciate Joseph and team for her job well done. Thumbs up from me. Yes, thumbs up from Rosalia. Thank you. The rest of the team, you're not able to trace that icon. Yes, Lois Mutio from the chat, good job. And there were others who really appreciate the work of that team earlier on. So let us welcome Veronica to give us the feedback for team two.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kisilo. Our question was to identify strategies that a school leader can employ to effectively foster supportive psychosocial environment. So we saw that the first thing is to ensure that the school acts as a zone of protection, and it is our work as school leaders to provide a welcoming and nurturing, safe and responsive environment for our learners. And we can do this by offering guidance and counseling. In guidance and counseling, we are helping the learners to manage their issues. We saw it good that we offer life skill education, which is very necessary for this. We also saw that as school leaders, we need to establish religious programs in the school, which will enable the growth of our learners spiritually. Because as we are looking at this psychosocial support, we are looking on areas of emotional support, mental support. We are also looking at motivational support of the learners. So as we offer them or we engage them in programs of spiritual growth, we are helping them in their problems. We should also involve them in physical wellness, whereby we will involve them in different activities, like involving them in clubs and societies, activities like sports and the rest. As we are doing this, also we are trying to help them. Mentorship also is another issue. We mentor them so that as a way of motivation, inspiring them to build self-esteem in such a way. We should also invite resource people. This will go back to guidance and counseling. Invite resource people to talk on career pathways and any issue which might affect them as per their requirements. We should also empower teachers to be mentors of the learners as they grow. And we also need to sensitize the parents about the wellness of the learners so that they can also help them grow well as they guide them, as they look at their wellness in form of health and the rest. I think that is what I can say about the strategies we decided, or rather the strategies we talked about on psychosocial support to our learners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Team 2, for that good work that you've also done. We really appreciate that you've been able to do a lot. And you've actually mentioned things like ensuring that the safety and protection of the learners. Of course, safety and protection will go a long way, even ensuring that the learners are comfortable and that they are not likely to be affected by both internal and external environment that can actually affect their social well-being or their well-being in general. Then you talked about establishment of guidance and counseling. Kindly mute yourselves. Thank you. So we are saying establishment of guidance and counseling, of course, is very key towards supporting as a strategy towards ensuring that, of course, the psychosocial well-being of our learners is taken care of. Overall, in this area, we just wanted to ensure that you are able to make a recall of the learner support programs. Remember, there is a whole discussion about the learner support programs, and majorly for the learner support programs that we have under the new curriculum dispensation are very clear to us. When you talk about the learner support programs, then of course we are looking at things like establishment of pastoral programs to take care of course, on matters faith for our learners. We talk about clubs and societies, mentorship programs, and that is why, of course, in the group they also talked about the learner, the life skills education and all that. So we want to appreciate the team for that good work and for correctly being able to identify the strategies and especially that come under the learner support programs that as school leaders you need to put in place. So anytime then we are talking about the strategies that as school leaders you need to put in place, you can always refer to the learner support programs. And I think even from our earlier discussion, they are very clear. I also want to refer you to the guidelines on the implementation of the junior schools by the Ministry of Education. When you read through those guidelines, which are available even in the media, you can be able to check and see the number of support programs that as a school you should be able to establish in order to support the psychosocial well-being of our learners. So let us appreciate that team for also a job well done. They've really done a good job. Veronica and your team, we appreciate you. Thank you very much, Joseph. Thank you very much, colleagues, for appreciating the team. Then we go to group 3. Group 3.
Yes, sir.
Kindly take us through the feedback from your team, and maybe you will remind us what you were discussing.
Okay, group 3 was handling a case study of one Madam Sarah, the Hoi of Mazuri school, who had found that the school was in poor condition as far as ventilation and sanitation was concerned. And the question was, what immediate steps should she take? We identified the following. That in the first place, she should put those that do not need so much money, such as hand washing facilities in place, enhance adequate probably latrines in case the RMI, the funds for the RMI are available, and they do the minor ones, including application of Kero to the toilets, so that they can be in a better condition. She can also have portable toilets in place, and let there be a health protocol for the students and teachers to follow. Those are the immediate ones because she identified them as areas of need. Then after that, she can call a stakeholders meeting to discuss on the issue at hand, because there are those that need finances. From the stakeholders meeting, they shall chart a way forward, and she may call the BOM, whereby they are able to draw a budget on how much money is required for the renovations. After that, they'll use the budget and mobilize for funds. This will include going to the NGCDF offices and the county government, and even well-wishers to secure funding for the renovations. Of course, they shall ensure the renovations are done, there is proper monitoring and of the construction of the same, and that they are done as per the standards set in the policy. And I want to believe that once she has done that, everything shall be done, shall be in place. Thank you, sir.
Jacinta, thank you very much for that input from Group 3. Majorly, I would also like to see whether there is any input from our colleagues in the room. Do we have any additions as to what the head of the institution could do from the team? Just raise up your hand as we congratulate them. But do we have anything that we can also add? Yes, Rosalia?
NGOs can also be, yes. And they can send a request letters to non-governmental organizations. For example, back in Makueni, we have what we call a GA or division. They can also assist to Impact International. They can also assist in providing some of the important facilities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in short, Rosalia, you are telling us to expand the resource base, isn't it?
The request.
Of course, you are trying to give us insights on how we need to enhance our resource base as stakeholders, or to ensure that, of course, we get enough resources to carry out the renovations. Thank you very much. So that we try out our resource mobilization base to be broad as much as possible, so that then we can get some enough resources. Thank you very much, Rosalia. Any other input from the team? Or even a member of the team in terms of additions? That was Rosalia. For the rest of the class, another contribution from the members? All right. So thank you very much. I think there are the immediate steps and what, of course, could follow after that to ensure sustainability. And I am glad that through the leadership of that group, we were able to clearly look into the process in terms of the immediate steps and what would follow. We are advised that, of course, one of the immediate steps, of course, would include ensuring we have hand washing as a strategy that can mitigate at first. Then, of course, we ensure that one, we have care, maintenance, and increase in terms of the number of the latrines that could be available for use in the school. Then, and this is very important, and for me, it's exciting to hear this from the group, that always, and it is very important that even in our institutions of learning, we always have what we call a health protocol. And our health protocol, of course, would include the do's and the don'ts on matters health. And the health protocol actually should cut across all staff, both teaching and learning staff, and of course the support staff, as well as the learners. So ideally, the health protocol is a protocol that will affect all of us. And it is something that, of course, should be always be ready with us. At our institutions, this is a point of reference that should always be in place, the health protocol. Then now, after that, as a long-term measure for sustainability, at the head of the institution, of course, we want to borrow from this team that, of course, they could call for a stakeholder engagement. Of course, the BOM, of course, are the managers of the school. You involve them in terms of the need that is there. Then they set aside the resources. Of course, these will necessitate the creation of a budget to ensure that this is done. And of course, now, after you come up with a budget, which is an estimate of what you want to spend in this particular project, then you go and resource mobilize. Most importantly, through one of us, we've been told that we don't resource mobilize from a single entity, but rather we should be able and in a position to expand our resource base. So ideally, this is to mean that we should be in a position to ensure that as school leaders, when it comes to resource mobilization, because the reason why we are giving you this, of course, case studies, these activities, is to ideally open your mind. When we say that at some point we need to mobilize or to look for resources, then we also need to ask ourselves, how do we mobilize for these resources? And I'm glad that, of course, from you, then you are sharing the fact that we should adopt a broad-based approach towards resource mobilization, whereby you look at the potential persons, institutions, organizations that can help you in raising funds to support your projects. So thank you very much. Of course, after this, of course, you indicated the fact that now you would, after the resources are made available, then now you're in a position to do the renovations as per the state standard, and of course you maintain this particular approach to ensure that even in future, faced with other challenges like what Madam HRI was facing, and of course, you can be able to mitigate such kind of challenges, which could be a replica of what you are likely to face also as a school leader. So we now move on to group 4. Group 4 leadership, kindly. Group 4.
Okay, thank you. Lois Mutio. I believe that I'm audible.
Yes,
Yeah, we
ma'am.
can hear you, Lois.
Okay, our group 4, the question was, how can you as a leader effectively empower and support school staff to enhance collaboration, professional development, and job satisfaction? So this is what we came up with. We started with collaboration. With collaboration, you create a shared vision and goals. You create a shared vision and goals. Then you involve all stakeholders in sourcing funds for learners and also for the staff wages so that they can feel comfortable and well paid. Also hold frequent meetings with support staff and allow them to give ideas in making decisions in our institutions. Then also in collaboration, you invite all the welfare team and staff to bring their needs so that as they work, they feel taken care of for job satisfaction. Then clear communication methods so that everyone is aware of what is going on. And you also do a follow-up as a leader and also give and get clear feedback. And also invite specialists who will talk to them on their job on their job satisfaction. Then we came to professional development, where we give relevant or adequate materials, that is resources. We also organize frequent trainings of the staff because such opportunities increase their performance abilities. Also, as a leader in professional development, leaders should be good role models. Also, you give constructive feedback. That is, you give positive feedback, which can accelerate professional development and also supporting employees in achieving their goals. Then in job satisfaction, we talked about the first one is insisting on transparency. That is, the leader is clear when he gives directions and also should be transparent. Then next, we talked about highlighting potential behaviors that might derail sound decision. For example, tiredness. Then we identify who to give more decisions. That is, giving responsibilities according to the workers' capabilities and responsibilities. Then leaders should show that he believes in them, because if he believes in the support staff, it builds confidence and trust, and also helps in enhancing their abilities. Thank you. That is what we had in Group 4.
Thank you, Madam Lois, for that insightful discussion from Group 4. And it really puts us into a situation where I would like us to maybe give feedback based on reflection. That particular question, the reason why we have it for this team is ideally to reflect on whether we as school leaders are able to actually do all what Madam Lois has really given us in terms of empowering and supporting our staff. Remember, in this meeting, all of us are school leaders, and I would like us to give feedback based on what Madam Lois has given us as a way of giving input to the work of that team. Now, Madam Lois talks about creating a shared vision and mission as well as goals for the institution. Now, how many of us believe that this is important? And if it is important, how many of us have gone to the extent so far? Remember, we started our journey sometimes back in January, or early in the year, it may not be, sometimes back in the month of April. How many of us have been able to create a shared vision or mission, or even have been able to share the goals of the institution with their staff, so that, of course, they empower and support them? And maybe what has been the possible impact for having done that? Let's see. I invite you for this discussion. I believe you've been following, of course, the mention of stakeholder engagement, resource mobilization, meetings with staff, communicating as appropriate as a school leader. So I want to invite the team so that we can have a short discussion based on the feedback from Group 4. And I would like to hear the input. What is the impact of doing all what Madam Louise has shared with us, ensuring that you share your vision and mission, your goals to the stakeholders, to the staff, to the learners, ensuring that you engage the stakeholders in decision making. And this is by way of ensuring that, of course, you also involve them in resource mobilization, ensuring you carry out meetings with your staff, and of course, communicating as appropriate. And matters professional development. Are you able to avail the resources? And if you have done, what has been the impact? View. So here, I would like us to briefly share some testimonial, if you so have, of any of these things that you've done and how they have impacted as a school leader in your particular institution. Very briefly, even as we try to wind up. Let's have some sharing of testimonials, something based on the feedback of Group 4 by Lois Mutio. And we would maybe invite the team or the group itself to start us off if there is any one of the team members who has tried out what the group has given us as feedback and how it impacted on matters supporting and empowering our staff. Eliud, I can see your video is on. Maybe you would like to share. You can unmute. Eliud, we can see you're trying to, unmute.
You can now hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I've been following the proceedings, though driving. It was a bit necessary. I want to note that the sharing of the mission, the vision, and even the school motto or the goals of the school makes the whole team to own the whole process, so that even as you lead both the professional team and the learners, they are able to be part of you. They understand why this is in place, and it energizes them because they know what they are heading or where they are heading to. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Eliud. I don't know whether I can put you to perspective. What have you tried as a person? What have you been able to try at? Is it Kambu? Is it your school is Kambu?
My school is Kambu.
Yes. What have you tried out?
Let me mention that.
Whether professional development or it can be professional development, like you've engaged your teachers in training, you've trained them, you've acted as a role model, for instance. I know you write a lot. How many of your teachers have been able to borrow from you in terms of leadership with the view of empowering and supporting them? Yes.
Yes, I have engaged the team, and we have improved on our school motto. And besides that, we have had almost every term
we have had guest speakers who come to help us to develop from where we are, to improve from where we are, so that at least, because there's a lot of knowledge with the populations outside there, we have engaged people who have challenged us on our status quo, and based on the previous performance of the school to where we are today, we have actually moved to another level. And in the next 2 weeks, we shall be launching a program that is known as Newspapers in Education, which is based the real, or the push to initiate this was the low literacy level. The learners could not read very well. And then I thought that introducing newspapers in schools, I'm sure you have heard of this program, it will help our learners to be fluent, both in reading and even in spoken language, as well as exposing our teachers, because, most of the teachers who are found in rural areas have, well, I'm sorry to say this, but a very narrow scope of knowledge. They are confined to the teaching career only. But when you introduce them to this, they're able to read newspapers on a daily basis. Then they are able to expand their scope of understanding and interaction, not only with the country, but even with the world, because, knowledge empowers. And through the newspapers in education also offers a platform for competition where learners are able to write essays, and they are rewarded, teachers are rewarded, and even the school is rewarded. So in such a program, it brings everybody on board, because the learner with the best essay will be rewarded. I think they offer 4,000. The teacher who has been teaching this learner with the best essay will also be rewarded. And then the school, to make the community be part of it, the school is also rewarded. Therefore, such kind of a thing brings everybody on board as we build the potential both in our learners and in our teachers. For example, we have a journalism club in our school. And when they interact with these people from the Nation Media Group, and also as they participate in different activities, they will enhance their knowledge. And therefore, it will also give them another perspective of that passion, because joining the journalism club means there is an inner feeling, an interest in journalism. And when they see it in practice, then of course it will put them, it will increase their passion. Thanks a lot, Martin.
Thank you very much for sharing that in terms of what you are doing as a school leader to empower and support our learners, to empower and support our teachers, to empower and support our stakeholders. That is great. Lucy, we want to hear from you. Lucy, maybe after Lucy, one more person. Lucy Mutwiri, we would like to hear your sharing in terms of what you are doing as a school leader to support and empower your learners and your colleague teachers. We can see your hand is up, Lucy Mutwiri. Lucy, or maybe Lucy is not aware that her hand is up. Can we have another school leader who is willing to share or give a testimonial on what they've been able to achieve in terms of empowering and supporting their learners and staff? That was very good sharing. Yes,
Hello?
Lucy?
Hello?
Yes, Lucy.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello? Yes,
Lucy,
I just want to share my testimony.
Yes.
As from what we have learned from
Would
Kemi.
you mind putting your camera on?
What I've learned from Kemi during our Oh, I have to search a bit. Hey, you want me to have the camera on?
It's the icon below. Karibu na mic.
I'm using a laptop.
Yeah, it's down below.
I'm
It's
using
written
a
video.
laptop.
It's written video.
Oh,
Okay, just
start the
proceed.
video.
Just proceed. Just proceed, Lucy. Don't worry about that. Just proceed.
Okay. Saying after what we have learned from the training, I've seen a great change in the school. I've been in Amariri Township, which is on Mombasa Road. It has not been easy to call parent for a meeting and listen. But for the last 1 week, I've been calling JSS, grade 8, 7, and all the parents. I introduced the idea of giving them a bottle of soda and bread, whereby they all went listening and participating fully during the meetings. So to me, I've achieved on that side of controlling the parent and listening and ready to support the JSS. On learners, I've introduced a new idea of having an happy classroom in school, whereby all the children from ECD to grade 8 will learn through integration. Putting all the corners in the classroom, within 1 week, I'll be done. I've also gotten development in the school through working in great relationship between the office and also our parliament and the member of parliament. That has made the school to have a lot of improvement. I share a bit of the history where I came from as the localized teacher. I was in a school which was
It's like we have lost you, Lucy. Especially when you are sharing your experience as a localized teacher. So thank you, Lucy. I think at some point we lost you. We have Winfred Mudoka. Winfred, I'll give you 1 minute.
Which was Amade's lady to call to have answer. A white man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are losing you, Lucy. But thank you very much for the sharing in terms of what you've been able to support and actually empower the idea of the happy classroom, the idea of actually engaging meetings. Of course, you've just hinted to us that you've put some motivation behind the meeting as a mail for the parents when they come for the meetings, and it has really worked. Thank you very much. In the interest of time, I want us to have a sharing from Winfred Muthoka. Just 1 minute, Winfred. Kindly unmute yourself, Winfred. Your hand is up. Winfred, or maybe Winfred is not aware that the hand is up, but the hand is up. I think if you realize that you didn't want to speak, then you will lower the hand. But I want really to thank Group 4 for even giving us the opportunity to share our testimonials for what we've been able to. Winfred, you are ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay, we give you 1 minute, please.
Yeah, a minute, I'm ready. Thank you for the opportunity. In my school, we have introduced lunch and breakfast and lunch for the learners. And this has improved their performance. It has also helped some learners to be in school. So we have minimal absenteeism of learners. They usually try to attend school every day. We also have purchased dust coats for all members of staff so that the staff, when they are working, they are comfortable. We have installed Wi-Fi in the school the whole school, so that we can, I have realized that we must use technology in all learning areas. So ICT must be integrated. ICT integration must be done in all learning areas. That is why we have installed Wi-Fi in the school. We have also done some renovations, like we have most of our classrooms tiled, the floor tiled, to ensure that there is conducive learning environment. There is security. We have also fenced the school, and we have put up a gate to ensure that there is security for all learners. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Winfred, for what you've been able to achieve and for that testimonial, alongside, of course, getting to mind about the nutrition of the learners by the introduction of the lunch and the breakfast, to the welfare of the teachers, taking care of their needs by introduction of the dust coats. Remember, the Wi-Fi is very important, and we would like to others to borrow from Winfred. In junior school, of course, we have the curriculum designs, some of them in draft form. And sometimes we are told by KICD that they are available online. So it is a very good idea that at times when we have to get the designs online, then we also facilitate the teachers. And therefore, this is a very great step towards, of course, helping the teachers be able to access all the learning areas in terms of getting guidance from the curriculum designs, which are available online and all that. And even for the general welfare that you've shown in a school by ensuring that tiling is happening, security is there, and all that. So thank you very much for the testimonials that all of us have shared, and for the wonderful contributions that we have had from all the teams. I want to say thank you very much for that sharing. And as we prepare to conclude our session, then we would like to shortly review our extended learning activity. And the kind of review for our learning, for extended learning activity for this Unit 5, we would like you to come up with a psychosocial support plan, but we thought of guiding you further by coming up with a sample of maybe what you can use as you prepare for that activity. So we will expect you to come up with such kind of a plan in terms of a template. It is divided into, and this is just an example. We are not limiting your innovativeness. You can go a long way to enrich this template, but basically we need such kind of a clear format, maybe with a week, the kind of a theme or a topic that you will be able to actually on board or discuss that very week. What would be the objective and what are the activities that will be carried out during that particular session. So this is maybe to give you a perspective in terms of what we discussed earlier in the morning, that we would like you to enrich your e-portfolio submissions by refocusing, by giving out relevant and quality work, artifacts that are reflected upon. So even after you come up with this plan in the form of this template, then we would like you to actually reflect on the same. And then, of course, you share the submission in the section that has been provided for. So maybe this is the input that I had to give in terms of review for the extended learning activity. And we are not limiting you to being innovative. I know you can present this still in another form, which will still be acceptable. But maybe for purposes of refocusing and giving you maybe some background to start, then we would encourage that you can use this kind of a template. However, you can go a long way to enrich the same. So as we wind up I want to say that we didn't have some very good attendance today. Actually, today's attendance was 39 out of 67. And I want to say that, our CDE is closely monitoring this, especially because of our closing tomorrow. Definitely, these will form part of his remarks, how the attendance was and all this. But to say that I want to report that 39 of us attended this class. So 28 did not join. Then we have a survey on self-paced learning that we are expecting that you complete. From the statistics, 32 have completed. So we have around more than half of that, 35 more to complete. So we would like you to still go to the community hub where we have this survey and therefore be able to complete. Now, about tomorrow, maybe, I don't know, we didn't share the program as we were starting, sorry to say, but we should be able to communicate to you that tomorrow's program starts at 2. So we are expected to attend our church service. And at 2, we actually ready ourselves for the class up to around 3:45, where we shall have a health break of around 15 minutes. Then we quickly join the closing. Before we do the closing ceremony, we shall have a very short session on the review of the reflective journal questions and a presentation on the most significant change form. So I want to remind you that tomorrow it's going to be a very packed afternoon, but of course we will give you the opportunity to go to church. And then of course we assemble in class at 2 with that number of activities lined up. After we have done our presentation on the review of the reflective journal in terms of the questions, we will be guided on when they will be made available. And then, of course, at that point, we join the closing ceremony at around 4:30. Remember, the rest of the 3 counties will be joining us for this closing. So we will be hosting Kirinyaga, we will be hosting Busia, we will be hosting Nyamira for the closing ceremony. And in attendance will be our county directors of education and the CEO Kemi, as well as the global strategic education advisor for VVOB. So it's expected that at least we, in the spirit of all that, as the host county for the closing ceremony, then we, all of us, be on board. We have invited the top level management who are still in the classes and monitoring what we are doing to be part of us during this closing ceremony, so that we can hear of their remarks and the next steps. So it is our hope that as a county we'll be able to have our game in terms of attendance. I will expect remarks from the leadership of the class as well, and therefore I have not seen the president of this class today. Has he been with us? Maybe as a point of trying to put things in shape tomorrow. The president of the class? So seemingly, Eliud, I know you have the rest of the leadership with you in mind. So call the president of the class. We will expect him to make some remarks tomorrow. So
Yes.
out of our busy schedules, it is good that we also attend these forums where we have been entrusted by our leaders. You have been entrusted by the CDE. You've been given an opportunity by VVOB. We have given you the opportunity to be joined by the top leadership of these institutions, and therefore kindly talk to the president. We will expect him to make remarks, as well as the presidents from the other counties. So it will be not good show that the presidents of other counties, the CDEs, of course, are making remarks, and then I am saying this as now a facilitator Makueni. I will expect a full class, and I am also saying this as the coordinator of the program. I am not happy about the attendance of today. So I know we are very busy, it's on a weekend, but you can imagine the rest of the other earlier counties. Of course, we had some very good attendance last weekend from Kilifi, from Garissa, and from Nakuru as well. So please, we expect at least some good attendance tomorrow. Talk to your colleagues, marshal them, let us be there. Let us see that, of course, our leaders, our county directors gave us the opportunity to be in this program. Otherwise, I want to give 1 minute to my colleagues to say jambo even as we break for lunch, and I wish you all the best as we prepare for our sessions to come tomorrow. Peter?
Nothing more to add. Just grateful that we were able to make it today. So kindly inform your colleagues and you can share with them your experiences. And if anyone is experiencing any challenges, they can get in touch with Aquila for support in case one is stuck. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to a good day tomorrow. We are looking forward to be joined by around 200 other school leaders from the other 3 counties. So for now, that's all from me.
Thank you very much, our colleague Peter. Now I want to invite our brother Elijah to say, Elijah has already left. Aquila.
Thank you so much, Team Makueni, for attending the class. So as we close the meeting, we'll take a group photo for this session. We'll open all our videos. Yes. Maybe we can continue.
Thank you. And now we need to take a group photo as evidence of participation. So now at this point, we will request that all of us have their cameras on. We can have our cameras on now. We need to see our faces. So let us all have our cameras on so that we can take a group photo. Maybe Aquila, you can notify us when you're ready to take the photo.
You can see it's most opened. Veronica Katunga, Richard Kio, Tombole. I can't see your videos. Lucy Mutwiri. Naona Catherine amefurahia hapo sana. Catherine Kiule. Yes. Thank you very much. It's okay now.
So thank you very much. Maybe we can say bye even as we leave. Thank you very much for attending. We wish you all the best. Enjoy your lunch. And let's meet tomorrow after church at 2 p.m. Asanteni sana. Thank you for being good students. Asante.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
There's no closing prayer.
Bye. Oh, yeah, we are reminded. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Our spiritual leader, where are you? Kindly take up your responsibility. spiritual leader, or any other person who can say a prayer for us, even as we wind up.
Mr. Kisilu is in.
Mr.
Kisilu is a pastor.
Mr. Kisilu is a pastor.
Yeah.
Which Kisilu? You know there are two Kisilus here. There is a Martin and a Eliud.
Kibwezi, from Kibwezi.
Oh, Catherine Chule says Eliud Kisilu from Kibwezi.
Eliud, yes. Yeah.
Okay, say a prayer for us.
Okay, let us pray.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Okay, let us.
Are we through now? Meeting?
We've been through this session and you have taken us successfully. We thank you for our facilitators and we thank you for all the participants. You bless us this afternoon, even as we prepare for tomorrow's session. May you prepare us and be with us. We need your guidance. We need your wisdom and understanding. May you be on our side. We thank you, we worship you, and we bless you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Bye. See you later.
Bye. Bye. See you tomorrow after church.
Bye. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kisilu.
Very much,
Thank you.
Bye.